ECU?
R.
Do you bleed purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors?
Hoist the colors!
It's time for the most in-depth look into the world of ECU athletics. Welcome to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Here's Stephen Igo.
It's Hoist the Colors. It's a Wednesday, May 6th edition of the program. The latest NCAA tournament projections for college baseball are out. ECU, despite a rough week at Memphis and a loss in NC State, still projected in. We'll tell you how far in are they? Are they on the bubble? Very much so is your spoiler alert. We'll get into that discussion a whole lot. Still 2 weeks left in the regular season. And the other teams that are on the bubble as well, we'll discuss their paths and how it could impact ECU moving forward. If you missed any of our shows earlier this week, you can check it out, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and check out our interview yesterday with Mike Mullis, where we talked about what the Pirates need to do down the stretch to finish strong. Obviously, all our shows are archived as well on YouTube and Facebook on 94.3 The Game. So check out those respective pages too, along with our podcast channels. We have our usual Wednesday crew today, although a little bit different because James Giglio is back home. And Philip Pilkington, he's back in the 94.3 The Game studios where he always is, Mr. Reliable, Mr. Consistency. But James Giglio, are you done with your final exams, man? Are you free for the semester, or you still got more work to do?
No, I got one more online one tomorrow. I was going to mention that last week I'm working my way closer to a in-studio appearance. Last week I was over the phone for 15 minutes. Now I'm on the computer for hopefully the full hour. Assume my computer doesn't blow up. But
I did have to fill out your internship end of semester. I guess report card. I don't even know what to call it. But I will say, James, on every single remark, it's like, would you strongly agree, strongly disagree that James was attentive, all that stuff, like responsible? I said strongly agree and that you did a great job on every single category. So I would like to congratulate you. I'm assuming you passed the internship for your class. So congrats on that.
Yes, I got a 100. Thank you for the kind words.
Good thing he had to already fill it out with you going back-to-back weeks going from home. I mean, that could have brought you down to that 98, 99 category. Good thing this craft was due a week ago.
That is true. Instead of strongly agree, I could have just gone agree with one of those categories about being on time and attentive. But hey, glad you're here today, my friend. Philip Pilkington, that was the voice of him. He's back in 94.3 The Game studios. Philip, how you doing on this Wednesday, man? Halfway through the week.
There was this team last night, Steven, that showed up and they were dressed just like the Boston Red Sox, but they were not the Boston Red Sox. So I'm doing great because they scored 10 freaking runs. And I do not know the last time the Red Sox scored 10 runs in a game. It was probably like 2018 when we won the World Series. So I'm doing great.
Hey, 2 wins in a row, and your run differential is only minus 11 as I look at the standings now. So trending back towards, within an earshot of 500. My Mariners blew another game in the late innings, lost to the Braves. Rubber game coming up today. James's Yankees continue to roll. We'll get into that potentially towards the end of the show. Also, his Lakers and – go ahead.
I was going to ask a question for Philip in segment 4 about MLB realignment. Just want to save that.
MLB realignment. All right. I like that. We'll save that for segment 4. All right, ECU baseball will start close to home here. Pirates obviously coming off a disappointing week and kind of have some time to regroup here. I know the staff is doing some recruiting on the road. Obviously, Cliff Galvin joined our show Monday. Said they would have a hard practice Tuesday, and we'll see how the team responds to that when they host Rice this weekend. But in the meantime, the latest projections are out. Our buddy at On 3, Jonathan Wagner, you can hear him on the Bucks on the Pond ECU Baseball podcast every Sunday night with yours truly and Scott Lorbatcher. He put out his projections. He's got ECU as the last team in the field. Michigan, Virginia Tech, and TCU were ahead of ECU on that Final Four in. UAB from the American is out. And ECU, in his projection, is the 3rd seed headed to the Hattiesburg Regional, which is in Southern Miss. Oklahoma as the 2 and Southeastern Louisiana as the 4. D1 baseball, which is typically the most relied upon given their stature of all their veteran writers covering the game. They also have ECU in the field as of Tuesday, but one of the last 4 teams in ahead of UAB And TCU, they have the Blazers in the field along with the Horned Frogs, and they also have Virginia Tech in as the last team in. The Pirates are one of 3 American Conference teams projected into the field. They are the 3rd seed in D1 Baseball's projection in the Tallahassee Regional at Florida State, with Arkansas as the 2. Man, that would be brutal. North Florida as the projected 4 seed. And then finally, Baseball America, they also have East Carolina in the field of 64. Once again, amongst the last 4 in, sensing a theme here. Behind NC State, but ahead of TCU and Vanderbilt in that last 4 in. And they are the projected 3rd seed heading to Starkville and Mississippi State's regional. West Virginia, the projected 2nd seed. Army, the 4th seed. UAB is out of On3 in Baseball America's projection. So, all right, there's a snapshot of the latest projections. Now, what does this really mean? There's 2 weeks left. There's a lot that can change. But what we do know, James Giglio, is that the Pirates, who were, I believe, a projected 2 seed this time last week, are now very much on the bubble after losing 3 of 4 on the road, and probably deservedly so, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that we're even having this conversation because it felt like just, a week, 2 weeks ago, friends of mine, people are asking me, what's the preferred destination? That felt like the conversation around ECU, like the preferred regional destination. Now it's, are we even going to get in a regional? Luckily, the bubble, I think, does favor us being a weaker bubble. We have good RPI numbers. We have a good strength of schedule number. But, looking at our actual resume, our best win, we lost a series at Coastal, lost a series at UTSA, split with Duke, swept UNC Wilmington, who hasn't been great this season. The Charlotte series, we did win, looked good at the time. They've fallen off. So, now it's a conversation of, does ECU's resume, stack up with these other teams? They do have opportunities down the stretch. I would hope there's going to be some juice this weekend. You don't know with this team right now in the senior weekend against Rice. And then you finish with Campbell and on the road at FAU, which is another question mark because that's a road series, and this team can't be trusted on the road. So a lot of question marks right now. Does seem like these sites favor ECU, and I think a weaker bubble does favor ECU. But right now, a lot of question marks for me on whether this team gets in or whether they are going to be at home watching the tournament with us.
East Carolina, again, will take on Rice this weekend. The good news for ECU is that they have some solid series remaining. There's no real RPI anchors here. ECU currently, as of Wednesday at 12:07 p.m. Eastern Time, 41st in the RPI. As James mentioned, the metrics are really good. Look, they're 41 in the RPI. Their strength of schedule is 32 nationally. Their non-conference strength of schedule, which the committee always focuses on, is 22nd nationally, and that's not going to really go anywhere. That's going to be a top 25 strength of schedule most likely. So, you have those for you in your favor, but you're 3-6-1 against Quad 1 competition, 3-6-0 against Quad 2. Those are the numbers that could hold you back if you fall into the bubble. But you do finish here with Rice, which is top 80 in RPI now, at 29-20. Campbell, midweek, they're 66th in RPI, and then at FAU, 131 on the road. That's a Quad 3 road series. So, the good news is, Philip, it's not like you got RPI anchors if you take care of business. I don't know if there's a threshold ECU can get into the top 30 again, but if they win 4 or 5 of 7, they should hang in that top 40. We'll get more into the discussion of the other teams later, but I feel like that would at least lead them in a good spot to where they feel good going to the conference tournament.
Yeah, I think you like that the higher RPI team is coming in as opposed to the lower RPI team coming in, because if FAU is here, you'd be looking at maybe gaining 10 points, possibly even losing points for winning a baseball game, right? And I think with these, we won't know till we see the Warren Nolan projections on Friday, but I would guess if you go 2-1, it's at least going to be a net positive each weekend. I'm going to get on a limb here and say, Rice, you're going to gain, 15, 20 points probably for a win and probably lose, 30 for a loss. So you're still possibly a net positive there as long as you take 2 out of 3. Probably roughly the same with it being at FAU. So that's good. But the tough thing is a lot of these teams you're battling with right now, UAB is the only other team who's not in a major conference. The CUSA and the Sun Belt teams who are in this boat, guys, they're in. And really, they don't have bubble teams. UAB, like South Alabama, Dallas Baptist, schools like that, they're going to have to win the conference tournament. And then everybody else, Jacksonville State, Coastal Carolina, Southern Mississippi, they're so in. They're playing games like you're playing, but they're way in or way out, whereas all these other teams, the Pitts, the Michigans, the Virginia Techs of the world, they're playing a lot better teams than you are.
Yeah, Louisiana is the one team we'll watch, but they lost to New Orleans last night at home, RPI 205, and dropped 10 spots in the RPI. So, like, some of these bubble teams, you mentioned a lot of good points there. Like, they're going to have to win. Louisiana kind of the one that could maybe get at large, but that was a bad loss for them in the midweek, whereas ECU obviously didn't have a midweek. All right, Kenny Curlin's in the chat. He says, quote, time to be positive and looking for the Pirates to bounce back this weekend with a strong performance. He says 6-1 to finish it out over the final 7 games. Write it down. James, I need you to write this down. Kenny Curlin's calling for 6-1. We talked about on Tuesday's show, how does ECU finish strong? How do they do that? I'll get your take on that. I mean, obviously, like Phillips was just hit the ball, which I mean, it like does sum it up greatly because ECU's inconsistent pitching, and basically it comes down to if they can hit or not consistently, which to this point they have not been able to. It's either all or nothing. But from your vantage point, what do the Pirates need to do to win 4 or 5, hopefully 5 of 7 here at least, to really kind of solidify their spot?
Well, I think it all starts this weekend with Rice, right? This is a senior weekend. They have to come out with some juice, some energy, something we haven't seen a lot this year. We've discussed this before against NC State, UNC. It's senior weekend, right? There's a good amount of seniors on this team. I think you come out this weekend, start with some juice against Rice, hit the ball well like Phillips saying, play, maybe, battle a little adversity, go down 2-0 on the Saturday game, 3-0 in the first couple innings, come back and win the game, right? I think that would show a lot of progress it's late in the season, and Cliff Godwin mentioned it that they're going to work hard in practice, but I mean, it's May, guys. So I don't know what, they could really hammer home in 1 or 2 practices that's going to get them to change their mentality when overcoming adversity. And then, I mean, bigger picture wise, though, you look, if they do win this series versus Rice, which I am anticipating, I think winning against Campbell for the first time since 2022 would also be, it's not going to be great RPI or not great number wise, but I think it will definitely do something mentality wise. Like, okay, we can beat these guys, right? Campbell's is a good team, but we haven't beat them since 2022. So I think that also is something. And then you have FAU on the road at the end, which is another opportunity because this team has been bad on the road, especially in the later season, April, May. So if you win that series, there's a lot of opportunities down the stretch to improve their mental game, right? So I think that would be my what I'm looking for this weekend.
I think that's a good take because if ECU plays well this weekend, they should win the series. And then next week will be, as sad as it is, beating Campbell and then beating FAU on the road will be a prove-it week because ECU has not shown they can do either of those things at all with this iteration of ECU baseball. So, like, that's the biggest thing. Now they just got to go out there and take care of business. Rice is playing well. They just swept, a team to get close to the top of the league. I can't remember who it was, but they've been playing well. Yeah, so I mean, like they're coming in 2 games behind ECU and have a chance to take second place. So they're going to be motivated and playing well too. So I don't know, man. We're kind of again at a prove it week for a different reason. Earlier this season we called it a prove it week when they were playing better competition, but now we're here with Campbell and FAU on the horizon. Have we figured it out?
UAB.
James? UAB.
Okay, yeah, that's
UAB.
right. So, yeah, I mean, that was a statement for them going to a potential NCAA tournament team and sweeping them at home. So, all right, I'll tell you what, guys, let's get a break in. When we come back, we'll get more into the actual at-large discussion on the other contenders on the bubble. We'll discuss that. Philip has made us a spreadsheet. I was going to do it on the fly, but Philip went ahead of time and knocked this thing out. So we'll rely on him to carry us through some of the conversation as well. Once we get back, we'll look at the whole picture. Where does ECU fit amongst these other bubble teams? What do they have left and more? This is Hoist the Colors.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arg!
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Alan, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Climb aboard as we set sail and hoist the colors.
Arr, matey!
Back to the show with Steve and I go on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back in segment 2 of Hoist the Colors. We were talking in segment 1 about ECU's path down the stretch. Their at-large chances. We'll get more into the discussion about other teams in the mix as well here in a second. We've got James Giglio joining us virtually. Philip Bilkinen back in the 94.3 The Game studios. We did have a comment I thought was pretty funny. Kenny Curlins said the Pirates will go 6-1 to finish down the stretch. I've written that down, Kenny. And NC Adam in the chat says what he's saying is that one loss will be a one. We have James Giglio, Philip Pilkington, and guys looking at the projections here, mainly D1 baseball. And I know that Philip wrote down a lot of them, so I don't know what all he has on the spreadsheet. But ECU, one of the last 4 in. I mentioned UAB, TCU, Virginia Tech also in the last 4 in for D1 baseball. First 4 out for them, they have Pittsburgh, Purdue, Miami of Ohio, Louisiana. Vanderbilt is in that mix. LSU is in that mix. Mercer, South Alabama. So, Philip, I guess I'll let you take it away. You can do this however you want. You can name one team at a time. You can run through them on other teams in the mix here for these last 4 spots in.
Yeah, so the tough thing is I didn't do everybody you mentioned there. I kind of looked at the article you wrote, and I didn't actually click on any of the links, just kind of the teams you mentioned. So TCU right now I think is a team that is right there around ECU. Most of them have projected TCU in this tournament as of now. Now, TCU, just kind of looking at what they have going forward right now, they are currently 5-1 in Quad 1 games. They are currently 3-9. Their RPI is 51. They're currently 3-9 in Quad 1 games. That is going to be a common thing with all these teams that we're going to mention is bad Quad 1 records. A lot of these teams are struggling in those games. However, there's a huge flux in this in the Quad 2 category. They're one of the better teams right now at 7-4. They do have to host Utah, who is 81, so that's probably going to be Quad 2. Most of the time throughout the weekend. Obviously, things can fluctuate with that. And then they host West Virginia. So they're at home. It's going to be favorable. And this is all quad 1 and quad 2 opportunities because right now West Virginia is sitting at an RPI of 24. So this will be one of those. I think if TCU takes care of each of their 2 series remaining, as long as they don't drop whatever that midweek is next week and go over in the Big 12 tournament, they're probably looking like the Horned Frogs will be in. As you mentioned there, they're projected right around ECU in most of these projections.
Yeah, and they're 13 and 11 in the Big 12. Typically, if you have a 500 or better record, their RPI isn't great at 51, but like you said, with that schedule coming up, if they win, it'll shoot up. So, the interesting case with some of these teams, I don't know if you wrote down Vanderbilt or LSU.
I got
those
Vandy
are 2 teams
here.
Okay. 2 teams to watch from the standpoint of, look, the metrics aren't good. Vandy 10 and 14 in the SEC, but look at who these 2 teams close with. And typically the committee is if you get to 13 and 17 in the SEC, that is good enough to make it in the tournament as an at-large. If you're less than that, you're not going to make it. So they do give some wiggle room with how good the SEC is. LSU is, let's see if I can find it, 9 and 15 in the SEC. LSU finishes at Georgia and then Florida. Vanderbilt finishes at Missouri and South Carolina. Those are 2 very winnable series for Vandy. So the one I'm watching here is Vandy. If they go 4-2, 5-1, they're probably in my opinion. So that's my concern. That could take a spot from ECU.
That could, yeah. And like you said, Missouri 124 being the RPI, South Carolina at 99. The thing is, Steven, I think the SEC, like you said, the record gets thrown in there more. And we're seeing it with basketball, right? We're seeing it in the ACC in the past with basketball where if you win X amount of games in said league, throw out the RPI. And they're in a huge spot right here where you're going to be the favorite probably in both of these series, even though the one this week against Mizzou's on the road. Now, Mizzou did cancel their midweek against Arizona State, so they will have a fresh bullpen coming into this one. There was weather. That was not a phantom cancellation like the Wolf Puppies and like Carolina last week. But they're going to have that opportunity just to go out there and roll. Now, like you said, on the other side of this stuff with LSU, going to Athens, that's going to be tough. That's number 5 team in the country. And then you got to host Florida. Now, Florida, the good thing is they're in. Could they be resting their guys for the conference tournament? I don't know, but they're also a host. They're a fringe bubble host team. So they want to finish conference play strong. So LSU's going to be in a much tougher spot. Now, if they win, it's going to help them more, but that's a tough little schedule. Now, LSU doesn't have a midweek, so they will be fresh when they host the Gators next weekend.
All right. One question I wanted to pose to you guys, and we'll continue on this. UAB and ECU. To me, I think UTSA is going to make it in. They're probably going to win the championship. I just don't know if the committee is going to allow 3 American teams.
Did you just say the
to
one
go
seed
in.
the Americans going to win the championship?
Did I say that?
Well, you just
technically,
said they're going to win the
they
championship.
still got to
You
win.
did say that.
They
Well,
still
are you
gotta
projecting
clinch
them
it.
to win the conference championship? Because the one seed never wins the conference championship.
Oh, I'm saying regular season.
Oh,
Regular
okay. My
season.
bad. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. I'm going. So UTSA, I think, will win the regular season championship. ECU, and of course, it could still be a 3-bid league, I guess, if somebody else wins the American tournament, which, as you say, is very viable. But I just don't think ECU and UAB are both getting in as at large. There's going to be some stolen bids, whether it's from the American or other leagues, James. So I think the ECU series win over UAB could prove to be fairly critical. UAB did drop in the RPI by virtue of a loss to Auburn last night. Good opponent, but still lost the game. They're 52 in RPI. ECU's 41. Strength of schedule, very similar. Quad 1, Quad 2, very similar. I mean, the thing is ECU is higher in the RPI, and they have the head-to-head win. So that could be a factor. I just don't know if UAB gets in over ECU if it comes down to it.
Yeah, to me, it looks like UAB is going to have to win the conference tournament. You mentioned I don't think three teams from the American are getting in, unless there's a bid stealer not named UTSA, ECU. The question I would flip to you guys is if it's, similar metrics and you guys just talked about it, would the committee take I don't think the committee would take a 3-bid American team over LSU and Vanderbilt, say they finish whatever down the stretch, because those 2 teams are in the SEC and those 2 programs have some pedigree. So I would ask you guys, from the ECU standpoint, if those 3 teams, or if say ECU is getting compared to LSU, how confident would you be that they would take LSU or ECU over LSU if they had similar metrics?
Not very confident, but the one thing that would give me some level of confidence is that John Gilbert is on the committee. So John Gilbert is on the NCAA baseball selection committee. So that at least feels like ECU has a shot. I don't know if they get in, but it's going to play a role.
It helps. I mean, it definitely helps. But still, I mean, we've seen this time and time again, man. We see it every year in basketball. We've seen it in baseball. Like, the teams that are coming out of the tougher league are going to, get the nod. You can kind of understand it, right? Like, you're going to lose games when you've got to play Florida one week and Georgia the next, or vice versa. Like, that's the tough thing. Like, ECU's dropping series to Memphis. So most people know Memphis has a baseball team. I don't think Memphis knows that Memphis has a baseball team. I talked to Dylan Johnson yesterday. He said nobody was at the game. So, I mean, there was one time he and I were joking about it yesterday. I thought that he lost connection because he took a deep breath and the crowd mic was cranked all the way up. There was no crowd to hear from. So you're losing a series like that. These teams are going to have some crucial series win in there. And then when they do lose a series, you lost to a national seed in a series. They're going to give it to them. They have to.
I didn't mean to. I was just curious because I know that's a discussion in football and basketball that these mid-major schools when they're getting matched up resume-wise against SEC and especially programs like LSU and Vanderbilt who have won national titles and have been two of the better programs in the last decade. I just was curious on what you guys would say.
I do think ECU has a better chance than insert any other mid-major here because of John Gilbert being on the committee because of the history of Cliff Godwin, though, than if you inserted Louisiana Tech into that spot.
There are several things working in ECU's favor. The pedigree of ECU, Gilbert on the committee. And I'm telling you, when these last few bubble spots, when it comes down to that, they look at non-conference strength of schedule. How much do you go out and test yourself? ECU 22nd nationally right now. I mean, that's going to go a long way if it comes down to it. Now, look, LSU and Vandy, they play in the SEC. They don't have to really test themselves, but you still have LSU 138 non-conference strength of schedule. Vanderbilt 257th non-conference strength of schedule. So now they're still top 30 strength of schedule because the SEC is so good, but still it could be a factor if it comes down to it. All right, Philip, any other teams you want to run through here? I think Virginia Tech, Michigan on that list, maybe TC or a few others. I think you already hit TCU.
Yeah, so I won't do every little stat on every team, but just kind of throwing out where teams stand out. Right now, VT, out of the kind of these teams on the bubble, does have the best RPI. They're sitting at 36 right now. That's huge for them. The other team that I kind of want to look at in this, and this is crazy to say because they're in the ACC, that's Pitt. Pitt is 8-9 in quad one games. Everybody else well below 500, and they're sitting right there at 500. The only reason they're even 8-9 is because they got swept down in Tallahassee this weekend. If they even take one of those games, we're talking about them being 9-8, and also they're second in the country in runs scored. So right now, if you're a team who's got the offense, you can then hit your way to maybe some victories in the conference tournament to portray yourself for because everybody's bullpen is depleted in the conference tournament. So you're going to give your nod to the teams who hit better. They're one of the best hitting teams in the country. Now, they can't pitch worth a damn, but hey, if you win a game 12-10, you win it 12-10. So those are kind of the teams I would look out for. And then, look, you're always going to give that extra look to Vanderbilt, to the SEC teams we've mentioned because they're any conference tournament win is a win against an SEC opponent, whereas when you do look at some of these other teams, like Michigan, for example, who cares about Big Ten baseball? Nobody. I think the last time they even had a team in the World Series was when Michigan went on that Cinderella run and beat UCLA in a super regional, which they had no business doing, and that's been, 5 years ago?
Philip, you didn't also mention that. Sorry. Or I was saying Pitt also has a series versus North Carolina coming up. So that's a good point. For them.
Yeah, they're at Carolina this weekend. And then they host Notre Dame, who's RPI 70 right now, so not a bad, look there if they can go on. They can take 2 out of 3 at home against what would be a quad 2 opportunity against Notre Dame.
All right, I've put together a rooting interest guide on who you should be rooting for based upon our discussion. And so if you're like, why should I care about all this? What does this have to do with ECU? First off, it is May 6th, and we're talking ECU. We're trying to kill the hour sports radio, so we're breaking all this down as a result. But here's what you need to know. All right, ECU, obviously, Pirates got to win. They got to take care of business against Rice. You want to root for, this weekend, Missouri over Vanderbilt. You want to root for Utah over TCU. You want to root for Georgia over LSU. Virginia Tech is playing UNC Greensboro in like a 2-game series, I guess because of exams or off ACC play. So
go Spartans.
Root for the Spartans. Yeah, root for the Spartans over Virginia Tech. You root for North Carolina over Pittsburgh. If you can do that, it would also help ECU straighten the schedule. If they continue to win. App State over Louisiana. Louisiana kind of sneaky. They're at 54 in their RPI. If they were to go on the road, win at App State, and then beat Coastal, they could play their way in too. And then root for Minnesota over Michigan. Not that anybody's going to be watching Big Ten baseball, but that is on the list. And James, I know you wanted to say something about it. We wish we didn't. We were not even having this conversation. It'd be much more fun to have the conversation of who's on the hosting bubble and how can ECU play their way there. But here we are.
Yeah, I mentioned that in my first talking point is because I told you like some of my friends and I was talking to my dad and it was like, yeah, like it's right now it's like where we prefer to go. And I was like, honestly, we prefer to go to Chapel Hill. And I was naming all these locations. Now we'll take anywhere. We just want to get in. So it's sad that we're having this conversation. Yes.
Road trip to Corvallis, Oregon, baby.
Los Angeles, California, sure. UCLA.
That'd be fun.
It would be a slaughter, but at least we could have some fun on the West Coast. Lane Smith, the return of positive Lane Smith in the chat, gentlemen. He says the Pirates will go 7-0 to end the season. Don't ask me why, just a feeling, and there will be 2 run rule wins. I do buy that there will be multiple run rule wins because when ECU does win, they win by a lot. He says UAB is going to sweep UTSA, and UTSA is losing 1 to Memphis.
Lane, just look, your Phillies fired the manager, and I understand baseball's gone really well for you over the last couple of weeks since Donnie Baseball came in, but just ride your high there. You can't. No, this just you're smoking too much of the opium.
We're getting crazy.
If all this happens, Lane will make his Hoist the Colors radio debut in studio if all this comes to fruition. How about that?
What?
We'll let him come on the air and talk about it.
I'll have the dump button ready. Yeah, it's fair. So. Lane can come on. Lane can come in. If all that happens, if ECU goes 7-0, he doesn't even have to get the run rule thing right, and UTSA gets swept. They don't even have to lose one to Memphis. If they get swept by UAB and ECU goes 7-0, Lane can come in.
All right. Let's do it. By the way, Lane, your invitation is still extended for the watch along. We need some colorful commentary anyway, so maybe we can get him on for the watch along. James is going to join us whenever that is as well for the conference tournament. So looking forward to that once we know more about that. All right, let's get a break in. We'll come back. We'll switch gears, NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs, whatever you guys want to hit on from the professional ranks. If you want to talk more ECU baseball or ECU, throw it out there. I'll get to the questions in the chat as well. But we'll be right back. This is Hoist the Colors on Wednesday.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human. About creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
In Eastern North Carolina, people appreciate things that are straightforward, honest, and dependable. For decades, our team has focused on cutting through insurance complexity for the communities we serve. And now, we're bringing that same mindset to our name. We're Flatlands Insurance Group, a simpler name that reflects the same local team, the same values, and the same commitment to the great communities we feel blessed to be a part of. Flatlands Insurance Group, your whole world is covered.
Make every day electric on the Kawasaki Electro 20 electric balance bike. Maximize the fun with long run times, impressive top speed, and Kawasaki build quality. Easy adjustability and smooth handling make everyday riding more enjoyable. And the standard MTB type tires provide off-pavement capability. The Kawasaki Electro 20 is the electric balance bike that's built to rip. Go to Ron Ayers Motorsports, Memorial Drive north of the airport, Greenville.
Inner Banks Media presents the return of Concert on the Common.
This year, we're live from the tailgate lot at Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium.
Coming up May 21st, Trial by Fire, a tribute to Journey.
Join us Thursday, May 21st for Trial by Fire at the new Tailgate Plaza next to Town Bank Tower at Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium.
Details at concertonthecommon.org.
Segment 3, Hoist the Colors. We'll get into a little bit of professional sports here and some ongoing playoffs, though. I was pulling up Twitter during the break. You never know what you're going to see on this app. And I did see that the American Conference Tournament is underway at the ECU Softball Stadium, Maxar Joyner Family Stadium. Tulsa, the 8 seed, eliminates UAB with an 8-1 victory. So UAB, one of the few teams ECU struggled with this season in the regular season for softball, is out of the tournament already. We'll see how the rest of the action breaks throughout the rest of the day. James Giglio with us, Philip Pilkington back in the 94.3 The Game studios. I also saw that Cliff Godwin has tweeted once again with some sort of burner account saying that he indeed is not stepping down from ECU baseball and will continue to coach. The burner verse is going crazy. So one of us has an inside path to the Burnerverse. They're in the DMs group chat. That's James Giglio. James, are they still firing off messages to you these days?
Yeah, I still get a couple messages. I have the group chat. I try my best not to go, but sometimes, if it's late and I'm doom scrolling in my bed, I'll go read what they're saying throughout the day and get a good laugh. But yeah, if you're Cliff Godwin, stop engaging, because that's how they're going to keep posting it, or why they're going to keep posting it. Stuff like what they're posting.
I did announce that I was taking the UAB beat reporter job to the Burnerverse as well, so they've had fun with that over the last few days or the last few hours. How many people are in this group chat, James?
There's a lot of people. It's 37. 37.
Oh my gosh.
And there's some creative characters, you could say, in the Burnerverse group chat, including the Barstool account. The Barstool account's in there.
Not surprising, because the Barstool account has really gone downhill since I was in school with the Twitter Barstool
they
account.
I think it's always like there's like some fraternity, I think, or something that's like running it, and they just like pass it down to the next guy. And I think frats don't care as much about sports as they should. I think, and I could be wrong, but I have heard that the guy who's running it now, I think, is in a fraternity, and I think that's how it stays passed down.
Look, I'm fine with burner accounts, and I'm fine with having some fun on social media, but like at least got to be funny and original with it. Like some of the stuff is just kind of lame, but it is.
I don't know,
what
that
it is.
group that Cliff Godwin thanked yesterday was pretty funny.
That was I will say that was pretty good. There was some good stuff in there. One of the few well done things recently for the Burners. Gosh, I hate that we're even talking about it, because now they're going to replay this on Twitter, and they're going to get even more love. But whatever. All right. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, remember we had the whole conversation, the whole segment on it last year.
That was my mistake. This is exactly what they want, and we keep talking about them, and we're giving them what they want, and now they're going to be tweeting at us. They're going to be replaying this. They're going to be posting James Giglio's face. He's the leader of the Burnerverse, and here we are.
Stigilio. I don't know if did you ever see the combo pick they made?
Oh yeah, that was super weird.
I thought that was funny.
Oh man. But hey, AI, you can do some weird things these days. All right. Speaking of weird, the Oklahoma City Thunder, weird basketball team to watch. In my opinion, not really a real basketball team, but hey, they won a championship last year. They're probably going to win it again this year. They're flip-flopping all over the place. I mean, they're a really good team, but, like, to me, they're just not even fun to watch. So I am reluctantly pulling for your Lakers, James, and the LeBron train. But I know you were kind of crashing out. We have our group text last night, me, you, and Brady Thomas, former HTC intern. Not as big as the burner group chat, but you were crashing out pretty hard. Are you stepping back off the ledge here?
Okay, before I get into this, I do want to clarify I do not have a burner. I'm not one creating any of these posts. I'm just in the group chat on my personal Twitter. I don't have a burner. I just want to clarify that. Anyway, I slept on it. It was only game one, feel out game for LeBron. You know, I'm still going to hold out hope for the Lakers, but man, when the Lakers role players AJ Mitchell and Lou Dort are hitting threes and 1 threes, it's like, I mean, come on. SGA has 7 turnovers and we lose by 20. He has 18 points and we lose by 20. It's just, I'm done. And I'm speaking of done. I'm done with Jake LaRavia. We need to give these minutes to Bronny. I think Bronny needs Jake LaRavia's minutes because, I mean, we've talked about it. Jake LaRavia, he might be the worst basketball player I think I've ever seen play. No exaggeration. And he somehow gets 15, 20 minutes in every playoff game he plays, and I've never seen him do anything productive. I'm tired of Jake LaRavia. That's my takeaway from game one.
Every time I turn on the TV and he is on the court, he's like running into somebody or dropping the ball out of bounds. Like, he legitimately is one of the more confounding basketball players I've ever seen playing in real playoff minutes. He gets like legitimate minutes too. It's not like he's out there for terrible. 2 minutes at a time. Yeah, so I don't know.
He's
That's
terrible.
Bad. Do they have to win game 2 to have a shot in the series, or can they go back home and fight through it?
I think they might be able to afford to lose game 2. I've watched enough LeBron playoff series, enough over the years to know that game 2 is usually not his game. Usually game 2 is probably going to be a stinker. I think I would take, if I was in a betting man, I would take the alt spread of like 25.5 for them to lose, because he usually uses his legs and the juice in game 1. But hey, if Luka comes back mysteriously, then maybe they win game 2. But I'm anticipating a blowout in game 2, and then a hard fought win game 3, and then maybe a hard fought loss in game 4. So I don't think, to answer your question, I don't think they necessarily need to win it. But I mean, still in a game would absolutely, I think, change the entire complexion of the series.
All right, the other Western Conference semifinals, you have the Timberwolves and Spurs. And, man, the T-Wolves win the opener of that series. Anthony Edwards somehow out there on, like, half a leg, 104-102. Yeah, here's the thing about the Spurs, and they made a charge late, James, to get back into it. But, like, in clutch time, they just have not been there. And obviously the T-Wolves have. The T-Wolves are beat up. But they're just so physical and they're so tough. Like, I don't know how good the Timberwolves are, but they're just they really are like a wolf backed into a corner at this point. Like, they just don't go down easily. And I don't know, like, I think they could win the series just off grit and determination. They're probably not going to get past the Thunder, but, like, I just don't know if the Spurs are ready for this moment yet.
Yeah, the Timberwolves are one of those teams that are one of those rare teams that it feels like every player on their roster is a playoff riser. And especially Anthony Edwards, who's the
We got to 43 minutes without losing James. I'll text him.
The Burnerverse is going to have fun with this one.
Oh, my goodness. But anyways, one thing I am going to say, man, with the T-Wolves, man, it's like normally when you talk about just like being the best physical team, you're talking about the hockey playoffs. And, oh, man, my 2-shot even has him in it. Hang on, Robert.
I think you should just talk as James.
I know. So what I was saying, I don't even know what he was saying. I mean, I do, but where am I? There we go. Okay. So anyways, Steven, look, I think the interesting, when you talk about like being a really physical team and it helping you in the playoffs, you think of that as more of a hockey take. But with the T-Wolves, they're finding ways to do it and be physical and be tough and play a blue-collar brand without getting in crazy foul trouble, and they're really tough to beat for 7 games. It's almost like you're going to have to jump on them, and James is back now, and beat the team, beat the T-Wolves in 4, beat them in 5. Now, I think with the Thunder and the crap officiating and all that, they shouldn't have a problem, but as your point is, are the Spurs ready? Like the old Spurs would have been, like the old Spurs were tough. The new Spurs, they're still young, And I don't think they are ready. I think they might get punched in the mouth, and it could be a grueling 7-game series, but can they hang with the physicality for 7 straight games? I don't know.
Yeah, and first off, welcome back, James. Thanks for rejoining us. I do think the Spurs, there will be a game in this series where the Spurs just like it clicks and they blow them out. But the games where the T-Wolves like hang in there and just get it to the fourth quarter, I think Minnesota is going to find a way. I mean, I'm sure San Antonio is still the favorite to win this series, James, but do you think Minnesota – it basically comes down to health. Can they just last long enough to outlast them?
Yeah, I think if they stay healthy, I mean, like I'm sure you guys just mentioned, playoff experience is definitely going to be a big factor in the series. We saw it in Game 1 down the stretch. The Spurs didn't play well down the stretch. Aaron Fox, a guy who is kind of veteran, but he hasn't been in the playoffs a lot in his career, and he showed his playoff inexperience. Wemby, while he had 12 blocks and a great defensive game, wasn't very good offensively. And while he can feast against the Trailblazers who aren't very good, the Timberwolves have been to back-to-back Western Conference Finals and have probably a top 5-10 player in the NBA, and Anthony Edwards, who, again, wasn't healthy yesterday. But like I mentioned before, I froze out. They have a lot of playoff risers on their teams. Jaden McDaniels, Ayu Dosunmu, who's a new playoff riser, Bones Highland, who's rose in the playoffs. Rudy Gobert has been exceptional the last couple years in the playoffs, and he did a really good job shutting down Jokic. And now, I mean, he did a fantastic job, I think, shutting down Wembanyama in Game 1. So, I mean, I think playoff experience is going to be a big factor. And I think down the stretch, I think the Spurs definitely will find a game or two where they win. I think maybe they, win Game 2, rebound well. But the Timberwolves' goal ultimately was to just steal Game 1 or 2 on the road and head this thing back to Minnesota. But right now, I think if you had to ask me, I would predict Timberwolves in 6, and I think they go to their 3rd straight Western Conference Finals.
One thing I do want to point out, their coach is smart. After the first game, they lost to the Nuggets. He made a big deal in the media, Chris Finch, about how the Nuggets were flopping and that, basically doing all this to get calls. That didn't happen the rest of the series. They didn't get those calls. And yesterday, whatever they won Game 1, he talked about Wemby's goaltending. I would expect that to be something that the refs watch a lot. He tries to set the tone for the referees after Game 1. And it's smart. He's a veteran coach, but keep an eye on that. How many of those blocks turn into goaltends with Wemby's reach? All right, how about the Eastern Conference? I mean, the Pistons win over the Cavs, 111-101. I just don't know. And obviously the Knicks rolled in Game 1 over probably a tired Sixers team. I'm just not that intrigued. Philip, you're an Eastern Conference guy. Unfortunately, your Celtics are out, so I doubt you're watching a ton of this. But I'm not that intrigued by the Eastern Conference, but I'll watch it, I guess.
Yeah, I think the intriguing thing comes down to 2 things. Cade Cunningham is the only guy that's a true go-to scorer on the Pistons roster. And can they actually even make the finals with just Cade Cunningham? The second thing that's intriguing is this. Philadelphia has not been healthy. Now they are. Now they've taken 3 straight games against Boston. Yeah, you could argue that Boston kind of, screwed themselves on some of those games because they didn't know how to run an offensive set, and I can get into a lot of things about the Celtics series. But, yeah, they looked tired in Game 1 and all that. Now that they've had the normal, I guess this is a one-day rest, but they've been in the same city. The emotions of the previous series is over. Like, is this Sixers team really better than what they appear because they haven't been healthy all year? I don't know. We'll see. But still, it's also not intriguing, Stephen, because the winner of the West is going to stomp the winner of the East in 5 games, max.
Yeah, any intrigue, James, before we get a break in on the Eastern? I guess maybe just can the Knicks make the finals for the first time since 99?
Yeah, it feels like it's Knicks to lose, and if they don't do it this year, they probably won't ever do it. So that's my only takeaway from the East.
That is fair. We'll have Knicks and 76ers Game 2 coming up tonight. Also Spurs Timberwolves at a 9:30 tip-offs. 76ers Knicks at 7. All right, we will get a break in. We'll come back. We'll talk some quick Hurricanes and also get James's take on the Rice series. He's going to make a prediction. I think he's got a question for Philip as well on MLB expansion, so we can lead with that after these messages.
Get ready to bring on the savings at Greenville Toyota with major deals on brand new Toyotas like a Camry, $229 a month, or RAV4, $279 a month. Now's your turn to save at Greenville Toyota.
In Eastern North Carolina, hard work matters, and it always has. At Flatlands Insurance Group, we've been showing up for our neighbors since 1963, helping families and business owners navigate change, weather tough seasons, and keep moving forward. Decades later, our purpose hasn't changed: to help protect what you've poured your time and energy to, from your home to your health to whatever comes next. Flatlands Insurance Group, your whole world covered.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut in Color and let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
At National Finance, we're all about hometown support, just like ECU football. National Finance helps us win on and off the field. They've got your back when you need it most. Fast, easy personal loans for life's big plays. And just like us, they're committed to Eastern North Carolina. National Finance, proud supporters of ECU athletics. Visit nfcmoney.com for loans as fast as today.
Your future is full of possibilities, and Pitt Community College can help you explore every option. You can earn a degree, learn a trade, transfer to a university, or launch a new career. We offer the support you need to succeed with flexible schedules, affordable tuition, and programs designed for the real world. Your path, your future, your college. Pitt Community College. Register now.
Bring on the savings with new Toyotas from $159 a month at Greenville Toyota. Get huge discounts like Corolla's $159 a month or Tacoma's $249 a month. Save today at Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
Visit Larry's Steakhouse for a tender, hand-cut certified Angus ribeye. Other entrees include perfectly seasoned pork chops, chicken, or seafood favorites like shrimp, tuna, and salmon. Complement your meal with Larry's fresh 20-plus item salad bar, or enjoy it as an all-you-can-eat entree. Daily rotating favorites include meatloaf, chicken pastry, hamburger steak, spaghetti, pork chops, and more, all complemented with your favorite country sides. Whether it's for lunch, dinner, or our Sunday brunch, remember to support and eat local. Larry's Steakhouse.
Everything you need to know in the world of ECU athletics. This is Hoist the Colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back on Hoist the Colors. Final segment here, final few minutes. All right, James Giglio with us, also Philip Pilkington. We got a few minutes left. I know James had something he wanted to ask us about MLB expansion, Giglio, so what you got?
Yeah, I had a question. I guess it goes for both of you, mainly for Philip. But MLB realignment, I saw a proposal from Fox. I don't know if you guys saw it. Philip, proposed division, Yankees, Mets, Phillies, Red Sox. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it'd be great. It'd be some made-for-TV, games right there. It would be weird, man, but I think if they go to the 4 teams divisions, if they go to 8 divisions of 4, they're going to have to do something like that. I kind of like teams, they're old school, that have been in the NL forever, staying in the NL, and the original teams, the AL, stay in the AL. So I wish at least, you're going to have to move some teams, but I wish kind of the original 16 MLB teams from 1902 would all stay in their leagues, as they have none of those teams have ever changed leagues, but that would be a fun division.
As a Mariners fan, I'm looking at Mariners, A's, Giants, and a Portland team. I'm not going to lie, that would be kind of disgusting.
No Dodgers. Dodgers and Giants got to be in the same division. That's just stupid.
Yeah. I mean, even the Braves division, imagine Braves, Marlins, Rays, Charlotte, or a Raleigh team. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't hate it, but it wouldn't be great. I don't know. There's no great way to do it.
Should we do one next week where we all make our own 8th division, 2 conference thing? You want to do it? North, South, East?
I'm down. I mean, we're entering that time of year. We need creative segments, so I'm down to do that. All right, the Hurricanes are off. I guess they get, 2 days off for travel to Philly. Do they sweep the Flyers, James?
No, they will lose Game 3, but they will win Game 4 and 5. I predicted that before the series.
You also have Montreal and Buffalo just getting ready to start their series, so they could be well behind the other Eastern Conference series, depending on how it plays out. Also, ECU Rice. We got about a minute left, James. You're covering Saturday, I believe. Your prediction for the series?
They will win game 1 on Friday, lose Saturday because I'll be there, and then they'll win on Sunday. 2-1.
That's fair. That's fair. What about ECU softball? Do they win a championship?
Yeah.
All right. Are you going to cover some softball for us this weekend?
If you need me to, yeah, I can. I haven't been or really been following them, but I'd be glad to. If it's in Greenville, might as well.
All you got to do is walk across the street on Saturday, and you'll be there.
I've never been to a softball game in my 3 years there, so.
You could also just go as a fan. It's free attendance, so you don't have to be a media guy. So we'll try to get you over there.
All right.
Saturday would be the championship at noon if they're lucky enough to make it. We'll keep you up to date on the schedule. But, James, hey, we appreciate the time, man, and good luck on your final virtual exam.
Thank you, guys. I'll be back next Wednesday, hopefully in studio.
Getting closer. We may have to get you on the phone coming back to Greenville for next Wednesday show. All right, we got to get out of here. We're about out of time. Appreciate James, Giglio, and also Philip Pilkington for throwing things together behind the scenes. Thursday at 12 noon, we'll continue on talking ECU baseball. We'll dive more into the specifics of the series against Rice. What do the Owls present challenge-wise? We'll talk to Dylan Johnson, play-by-play voice, and continue on with other discussion around the sports world. We'll see you then Thursday, 12 noon on Hoist the Colors.